Um, okay, so hi everyone and welcome to our Suncor public comment training session. We're so grateful to have you here today. We'll be conducting this training in both English and Spanish, and in just a few minutes you will be given the option for which Zoom room to join. Hola y bienvenido a nuestra sesión de capacitación sobre comentarios públicos de Suncor. Estamos muy agradecidos de tenerlo aquí hoy. Realizaremos esta capacitación tanto en inglés como en español y en solo unos minutos se le dará la opción a qué sala de Zoom unirse. Oops. So hi everyone, my name is Giselle and I'm with 350 Colorado and I'll be hosting the English part of the training, and I will also let Lucy introduce herself, who is hosting the Spanish part of the training. Hola a todos, mi nombre es Giselle y estoy con 350 Colorado y yo presentaré la parte en inglés de la capacitación y Lucy va a presentar la parte en español y dejaré que Lucy se presente también.
Hola, buenas tardes, buenas noches. Yo soy Lucy Molina, aquí soy residente de Commerce City. Bienvenidos a todos, gracias por acompañarnos. Espero que esta noche encuentren esta información beneficiante y que juntos podemos alzar la voz a proteger a nuestras comunidades. Aquí estamos a la orden. Dios los bendiga.
Okay. So we're going to go over the agenda really quickly. So first, we're going to give you just some quick background information on what is currently happening.
I'm sorry to interrupt, honey. I'm sorry I didn't say it in English.
Oh, you're fine.
I'm so sorry. So, well, my name is Lucy, and I just said in Spanish that welcome everyone, and I'm a resident here in Commerce City. A lot of people know me from working for environmental justice here in my community, and I hope that you guys find this presentation beneficial and that together we can join our voices so we can protect our communities together. Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you so much. So first, this computer. So first we're going to go over the agenda. In this presentation, we're going to give you some quick background information on what is currently happening with Suncor and why it is so important to make your voice heard now. And then we'll walk you through some of the upcoming opportunities to speak and get involved, as well as prepare you for what to expect at a public hearing. I know that a lot of people joined today have maybe never spoken at a public hearing before and it can seem intimidating. So we're gonna give you some information on what to expect. Primero le brindaremos información general rápida sobre lo que está sucediendo actualmente con Suncor y por qué es tan importante que su voz se escuche ahora. Y luego lo guiaremos a través de algunas oportunidades próximas para hablar e involucrarse y qué esperar en una audiencia pública. So in just a minute, we'll be breaking out into English and Spanish Zoom rooms, but first, if we could all do a quick round of introductions and just say your name and where you're calling from. En solo un minuto estaremos entrando en las salas de Zoom en inglés y español. Pero primero, si pudiéramos hacer una ronda rápida de presentaciones y decir su nombre y desde dónde está llamando. I'm going to stop share. And I'm going to share my screen again. All right. So thank you everyone again for being here today. This is such a powerful opportunity to speak, and Suncor is, like everyone said, in the introductions, it is such a horrendous polluter and such a damage to the community. So right now, Suncor is in the process of trying to get their permits renewed, their permits to pollute. They're up for their permit renewal by the APCD, the Air Pollution Control Division. So this is really, really a rare opportunity to make our voices heard and really push against this renewal for this new permit. There's some upcoming opportunities for the public to give a comment. And I'm just going to stop sharing my screen really quick just to make sure that I'm recording, because I don't remember if I did or not. Yes, I am recording. Okay, sorry about that. Cool. Okay, back on track. Okay, so Suncor's permit to pollute is up for renewal. And so first we want to give you just some background on why Suncor is a problem. I mean, I'm sure you all know why Suncor is a problem, but I'm going to give some background. And then after that, I'm going to talk about some of the upcoming opportunities to get involved. So as you all hopefully know, Suncor is a major polluter and a horrendous problem in Commerce City. They've repeatedly violated their air pollution permits, releasing hundreds of tons of smog-forming chemicals each year. Every year, Suncor emits 14.1 tons per year of hydrogen cyanide, which is a highly toxic, colorless, odorless, and potentially deadly gas. Hydrogen cyanide is, it was used by the Nazis. I mean, it is terrible that Suncor is emitting this amount, but this amount of hydrogen cyanide into the community. The emissions from the Suncor refinery have contributed to the area being the most polluted zip code in the country, which is terrifying to think that the most polluted zip code in the country is in our state. And a lot of people don't know that's in Commerce City. Suncor is currently permitted to release about 800,000 tons of air pollutions and more than 116,000 pounds of cancer-causing and lethal toxins per year over the Denver metro area. And instead of working to remedy these emissions, Suncor has fought to increase their pollution limits. So, when the community says, wow, Suncor, you're polluting a lot, their response isn't to say, okay, we'll cut down our pollution. Their response is to say, oh, we're going over the legal limit. Well, let's raise the legal limit so that we can legally pollute more. So right now they're in the process of trying to renew their permits and get their pollution limits raised so that they can pollute the community more than they're already polluting, which is just, if you're not infuriated by that, you're probably at the wrong training. So local community impacts, we had some people in the introduction speak about living in Commerce City. Lucy talked about her experience living with Suncor in her backyard. Suncor is located in a populated area where it continues to poison communities and contribute to the climate crisis, as well as giving the Denver Metro and North Front Range area an F-grade air quality rating. They spew toxic pollution over this neighborhood, which is 80% BIPOC, working class. So it contributes to environmental racism, harming people's health and environment. Suncor releases toxic gases into the air, including hydrogen sulfide, sulfur dioxide, and carbon monoxide, all of which contribute to numerous health problems, including respiratory infections, asthma, and adverse cardiopulmonary events and death. Suncor's pollution has led to severe health problems for people living near the refinery. So why is this coming up right now? So right now they're in their permit renewal process, which means that, Title V of the Clean Air Act requires major air pollutant sources such as Suncor to obtain an operating permit and to operate in accordance with that permit and certify their compliance with the permit's requirements at least one per year. And the EPA has delegated Title V permitting authority to the Colorado Air Pollution Control Division, which is the APCD, and they're the ones that will be hosting the public hearings where they can hear from community members on the impacts of Suncor. So permits for Suncor were issued in 2011 and 2017, but have not been renewed since then. However, Colorado has allowed Suncor to continue to operate without valid permits and without the benefit of the EPA required compliance assurance monitoring. So now Suncor is applying for the permit renewal, and the APCD must have a public comment period before renewing the permit. So they're legally obligated to have a period where the public can speak out about the impacts of this major polluter. So January 7th is the first opportunity for them to hear from the community, and that's tomorrow. Of course, they give us a really short deadline, but after the public hearing in January 7th, they'll post their first draft of the permit. And then on January 15th, there will start a longer public comment period where they can hear from community members after the permit draft has been written and published. So we'll keep you posted. We have all your email addresses for registering, so we'll keep you posted on following opportunities to speak if you would like us to, and just keep you in the loop about where this permit process is. So right now, upcoming opportunities to speak. So the first public listening session will be held on Thursday, January 7th, which is tomorrow, from 6 to 8 p.m. And we'll be sending you all these slides, and the slides have all of the links that you'll need to register to attend and speak. I can also put the registration link in the chat right after this presentation. If you want to register to attend or speak, you can register and then you'll be added to a list. And the good thing about this listening session is that there will be Spanish translation available. So whether you speak English or whether you speak Spanish, there's a link in English and Spanish for you to register, and there will be Spanish translation available for you to speak. Then after they release their draft of the permit, there will be an official public comment period from January 15th through February 15th. And there's more details to follow. They haven't released the exact dates or the exact opportunities, but they have public notices that they give out. So you can sign up for public notices at the link, and I'll put that link in the chat as well. And then in addition to the official public comment period, there will be small community conversations with Suncor impacted residents between January and March. And we haven't gotten any details on this yet, but details to follow. As well, written comments by email can always be submitted outside of the formal public comment period to cdphe.commentsapcd@state.colorado.us. So at any point, you can submit a written comment to this email address. And in general, it's good practice anytime you speak. If you have a written prepared comment that you give spoken at one of these public hearings, it's always good to follow up and send that as an email to this email address so that they have both the spoken version and the written version available. So step one, in order to give a public comment, you have to sign up. So if you want to attend and speak at the January 7th hearing, I know it's short notice and it's hard to schedule, but we really need community members to show up as much as possible and speak at this hearing. It's so important that they know that the community cares, that they're paying attention, and that they don't want Suncor to continue polluting this neighborhood. So you can sign up at this link. Once you sign up to attend, you will be sent an email by the APCD with the link to join the online meeting. So that's how you'll be able to join. And if you register to speak, you'll be put on a list of speakers and you will be given 2 minutes to speak during the hearing. In order to speak on this registration link, you have to click yes, I'd like to say something when it says, would you like to register to say something during the meeting? And they will welcome as many people to provide input as time will allow. So you click yes, I'd like to say something, and then you're put on the list of speakers. So step two, preparing your comment. So 2 minutes goes by really fast. Different people have different methods of presentation that they find most comfortable. I always suggest, if you've never given a comment before, you may feel nervous. Sometimes it's really good to prepare a comment beforehand, so to write it down, rehearse it, time yourself to make sure that it's 2 minutes long, edit it if it's not 2 minutes long, and then rehearse it so that it flows smoothly during the presentation. But for some people that feels very rigid and kind of, stifling. So some people feel more comfortable preparing a list of bullet points and then speaking from the heart, but following a list of bullet points of points that they generally want to touch on. Other people feel more comfortable just speaking openly from the heart. If you've experienced personally impacts from Suncor and you just want to speak openly for 2 minutes about what you've experienced, that's totally great too. That can have a really strong emotional component. And so really you have to find what's most comfortable for you, but these are some things that we suggest. Just make sure to keep it within 2 minutes. And as well as different presentation methods, there's many compelling ways to approach the topic. So speaking from personal experience or telling a personal story can be very impactful, specifically talking to how you, your family, or your neighbors have been personally impacted by Suncor. You can also cite facts, statistics, or talking points, and we have a list of example talking points that is linked in this document that you can draw from. And we're working on having a translator translate all of these talking points into Spanish so that they're available for Spanish speakers to help guide comments as well. You can do any combination of personal experience and facts and statistics. These are all just resources that are available to help you give the comment that you want to give. The most important thing is that you end your comment with an ask. So you specifically say what you want to see change. Examples, we're really asking, what we want is for them to deny this permit. We don't want them to let Suncor continue to pollute. But if they don't deny the permit, which it would be a hard ask. I mean, it would be hard for them to deny the permit. So that's what we're asking for. But if that doesn't happen, at very least, what we're asking for is stricter emissions regulations so that they lower the amount of pollution that they can put into the community. We also want to ask them to make a plan for a just transition away from Suncor. We know that a lot of people work at Suncor, and we want to be respectful of the fact that, you know, their jobs and their livelihood may depend on this, but we do need a just transition away from Suncor, something that takes into account the needs of the people that work there, but also the needs of the community members that are being poisoned. And we also want more direct support to impacted community members. We want Suncor to be held accountable for damages to community members. So it's very important, whatever your comment is, that you end it with what you want to see change. And then step 3, presenting your comment. During the hearing, just be online when the hearing starts at 6 p.m. and be listening for your name to be called, because it'll go by quickly. So just be prepared for your name to be called. And then once your name is called, if you've never given a presentation before, you may be nervous. So it's good to sometimes take a deep breath and just remind yourself that what you're doing is so important and so amazing. And the fact that you're showing up and speaking for your community is so, so powerful. And just own that power, you know? Just speak and just own your power. And then give your comment, limiting it to 2 minutes. And then remember that Spanish interpretation will be provided at the hearing. So if you know anyone who might want to speak but might be nervous about the language barrier, let them know that a Spanish interpreter will be available at the hearing, so they can give a comment, or you can give a comment in whichever language is most comfortable for you.
Giselle, can I add a tip?
Yeah.
I will say, for me, one of the best things that I've done is really practicing at least 2 or 3 times, because even if I'll write something, I'll say it and it's usually way over the timeline, or maybe I say it really fast, and then I have extra time where I could say something more. So I would definitely recommend writing down whatever you want to say, even if it's just an outline, and practicing it a couple of times. It'll help with the nerves. It'll help make sure that you're in that 2-minute mark, so that you don't get cut off at the end, you know, in the middle of before your ask or anything like that.
Thank you so much, Julia. Yeah, I found that every public comment I've ever given, I write it out and then read it word for word. And I found that really, really helpful, because sometimes, you know, nerves will come up and, you know, you'll get lost, or you won't know what to say if you're winging it. And then having it and rehearsing it makes you often feel more confident. So thank you for flagging that. And then after you're done presenting, it's good as general practice to always email your comment to the APCD as a written comment, and we will email you once the public official written comment period opens. But again, you can submit your comment with the email address at any point and they will get it. And then it's, you know, we need the public momentum. We need people to know what's going on. We need people to know and feel empowered to speak at these hearings. So just spreading the word, sharing it with as many friends, neighbors, and family members as possible. That's how movements get built, is by talking to the people around you and talking to people and telling them why this is so important. And when people know that their friends and neighbors and family members are speaking up and doing something about this, they'll feel more empowered to also speak up and do something about this. And we'll be preparing a video, and following up with an email with talking points and links to register. So after this training, we'll send you an email with all of the resources that you need that we presented here. And we're going to be doing some social media pushes, so be on the lookout for that. Spread the word on social media. Just make sure that people know what's going on as a next step. And just to conclude, know that your voice matters. Hearing from impacted community members sends such a strong message, and the more people speak, the louder the message. And we really, really need the APCD right now. It's so important. We need them to know that the community is paying attention. We're listening. We know what's going on. We know the damage that Suncor is doing to these communities, and we're not going to stand by and let them continue to pollute. We're not going to let this permit just pass under the radar without anyone knowing about it. So just know that your voice matters, and that when you speak, you're showing so much power. So thank you, everyone, so much for joining this training today and for signing up to speak. And I will put all of the resources that we'll need